lethal launcher that can de-escalate any situation for 99% of any altercations. Now, the new Burner Compact Launcher is the smallest, less lethal option to date. It's concealable anywhere. It fires powerful kinetic rounds, tear gas, pepper spray. It also can stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes. No background checks, legal in all 50 states. It ships straight to your door. Burner, because your first line of defense should always be less lethal. Just go to byrna.com today and find the right launcher for you and your family to be safe. That's byrna.com.
News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, comes from the Mortgage Gumbo Studios.
Your locally trusted home loan lender, MortgageGumbo.com.
Federal workers fired. I'm Roger Stern, Fox News. President Trump taking the unprecedented step of firing more than 4,000 federal workers during a government shutdown. Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House.
Federal workers across the government are being notified of reductions in force. A spokesperson for the White House Budget Office says layoffs are substantial. The Trump administration has warned of layoffs if the government shutdown continued, a departure from previous shutdowns when federal workers were furloughed but brought back to work once the spending bill was passed. A group of unions representing federal workers is suing, asking a federal judge in San Francisco to block the firings, arguing the administration is improperly using the shutdown as the basis for layoffs. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The S&P 500 suffered its biggest one-day drop since April as the U.S. goes on the economic offensive against China. Fox's Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
The president threatening new tariffs on China on social media, saying he would implement a 100% tariff on Chinese imports plus export controls on all critical software. This fury sparked by China's new export restrictions on rare earth minerals, which also includes restrictions on equipment used to mine rare earth, forcing exporters to apply for licenses, and the rejecting of export requests for products used in military goods. Because of this, President Trump also suggested the possibility of canceling his planned meeting with President Xi. Now, the trade truce between the U.S. and China is still in effect, but it is set to expire in less than a month.
Economists warn tariffs will hurt American consumers and businesses. President Trump says he plans to be in Israel and Egypt next week following the ceasefire negotiated between Israel and Hamas. America is listening to Fox News.
Good morning. Welcome to Winning at Life. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. Welcome to the show. For new people joining us today, hey, been doing the show for 15 plus years. It is the final financial talk show of the South, in my opinion. And a lot of information we've been bringing to you, and it is a 3-hour radio show. So get that cup of coffee, sit back, and let's talk about some things here that can maybe help advance you on winning with your money. Number of things on my mind today: Social Security, Medicare, that I'd like to talk with you about on today's show, and some taxes too. So a lot going on, a lot to talk about as always. One of the topics that's kind of on my mind, and that would be lack of market volatility lately, and then all of a sudden it showed back up yesterday. 2 weeks ago, I mentioned on the show that because of, say, government shutdown could create some volatility. Well, we didn't have that happen, did we? At least not to this point. And what's important about that is it does happen from time to time. When we have these things come up, it always creates some fear, some worry, and we just haven't had that. And it's not always something. It could be that, and then of course, as we've been aware of for a little bit of time, tariffs have caused volatility. And you heard on the news break that market took its biggest dip yesterday since April. What caused it back then? Tariffs, the uncertainty, China not being a good trading partner. No surprise there. They pushed back, and the president pushed back against them and increased tariffs. Now we had the market kind of like, oh, we weren't expecting that, but you should have been. But when we look at the market movement, it really wasn't that much in the grand scheme of things. We didn't erase too much, but we basically erased the week's gains from there. So is that possibly a little bit of opportunity? Yeah, but not like what we had when the market pulled back, when the tariffs started being put in place. There, we had the S&P and Dow down more than 10%, the NASDAQ down more than 20%. Yeah, buying opportunity, but also is a time to not react out of fear. Once again, I go back to an opportunity. And some of that discussions that we have is where you've got a long investment window prior to retirement. Those are more opportunities, but not something where you should overreact and all like, oh, I'm getting out. Especially when you're contributing every month to your 401k or fulfilling your IRA on a monthly basis, fulfilling your Roth on a monthly basis to get to that annual maximum. So you have that ebb and flow in your dollar cost averaging in. So it helps you buy at overall prices that are less than the market. So, and that shouldn't be really like, oh, what should I do? Should I stop contributing? No, you might want to contribute a little bit more when events like that happen. This was not it. This was just something subtle. I thought we might have seen that earlier because of the government shutdown, and it didn't happen in that way. And we have more of a pressure point at this time regarding the shutdown. So when we're looking at, and let's talk about that for a few minutes here. So when we're looking at why the government shut down, well, the U.S. law says the government agencies can't operate unless funds are allocated to them by Congress. And so we've had a divide between both parties, Republicans and Democrats, have failed to pass a bill funding government services through October. So one party, what we have to have is 60 votes. The House has approved continued spending, but the Senate has not, and we need 60 votes, and they're not on the same page. For the most part, on the Republican side, very, very high percentage of them, I think you might have had one or two Republicans defect, and you had a couple of Democrats, 2 or 3, I'm not going to be exact, voted to approve it, but we were still a few votes short. So that's where we are at on this. And the Democrat side, they're asking for things that changed in the big beautiful bill to kind of be added to this to support some of the things that they believe in that was taken away in the big beautiful bill. That's just kind of summarizing what's going on there. And before we've passed, and I say we, the government, I'm not a part of the government, so that was not correct saying we, but the government has passed continuation bills so that the government can continue operating as they work through to get a long-term agreement on this. So how could this shutdown impact us? Health and Human Services at the Department of Health and Human Services, more than half of the employees will be kept on while the rest will be furloughed. We might feel this also impact the Federal Drug Administration. A shutdown will end safety inspections. I'm not too concerned about that. I don't think farmers are going to throw away the book and not feed their animals properly. Another impact would be millions without pay. Shutdown may impact as many as 4 million federal employees could go without a paycheck, whether they are furloughed or laid off. And it looks like layoffs are happening as well. So this might be a time where government's going to be cut back even more. Around 2 million troops could be forced to work without pay, including members of the National Guard that President Trump has deployed to a few cities. In the past, what happens? They get their back pay. I don't see that as being as a problem, but there might be a paycheck missed temporarily. Here might be the bigger impact: travel and transportation. Those of us who don't work for the government aren't off the hook. Biggest impact we may experience is a pause in some services we depend on. Hey, I traveled last week. I'm traveling again here shortly, and felt it a little bit. TSA workers at airport checkpoints around the country would be expected to continue work without pay. And air traffic controllers are expected to work without pay. And what are we seeing? Some of them are calling in sick. Probably, well, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to work. Well, I'm pretty sure they'll get back pay on that. But with that said, you could feel that kind of like, well, maybe I should take a few days off and relax or catch up on some things around the house, or before weather gets too cold, go to the beach. I don't know what their reason might be, but when we were flying back from Kansas City to New Orleans, we were prepared for a delay because one of Atlanta's runways had to be closed because there was not enough air traffic controllers to cover all the runways. So we had to fly in a different route to head into the runway that was open at that time. And it turned out it wasn't a bad thing because we were probably going to have to fly around some weather anyhow, but it turns out we really didn't have a delay. It was more weather impact. But you could expect that going forward, that there might be a few more delays out there, and I'm kind of anticipating possibly that might affect a short trip I'm having to take this week as well. And that's not something out of the norm where we have, even when there's not a government shutdown, what do we have? We have delays in flying for a number of reasons. So here's one of my suggestions. Just keep an eye on your travel plans if you're flying and anticipate some delays. And that's one reason when I make connections, I kind of give a wide berth there. I don't try to run that too tight. Why? You can't never tell what'll happen, whether it's, the wiper blades on the jet needs to be changed, or runway problems, weather problems. Could impact luggage as well. Just saying. So let's take a short break. You are listening to Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks. We'll be right back.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Could this be your Social Security, your 401k, pension, lump sum, your debt, student debt, credit cards?
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years. Sometimes I'll pull up to the side of the road and just listen.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hello, Gumbo Nation. This is Dwayne Stein with Mortgage Gumbo. Are you ready to get off the sideline to purchase your first home, but thinking, what the, who the, how the? Well, I'm your guy. As your local home loan lender, Mortgage Gumbo Dad Cam has been guiding clients just like you. Buying a home can be scary, but the process shouldn't be. Just ask my thousands of clients. Let me earn your trust today. Visit mortgagegumbo.com.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can hear the Ask Gregory podcast, where you'll find episodes based on a financial topic. So if you're looking for help on a specific situation, there's a good chance you'll find it on the Ask Gregory podcast, including episodes on 401ks, taxes, stocks, Social Security, gold, and whether or not you should buy an RV. Hear the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
2 questions. Do you have a pulse? Do you own anything? If you said yes to both, you probably need a will. You may even need a trust. We all know a lawyer. Do you know someone who specializes in estate planning? Do you really trust the husband of your sister's friend from college? Or would you feel better putting your family in the hands of the estate planning attorney of the Total Wealth Authority? I'm Wes Blanchard. What's your plan? Offices in Metairie and at wjblanchardlaw.com.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
If you do not have money set aside, you do not have retirement assets, you don't have significant savings, you're thinking, well, when should I turn on Social Security? I'll answer that for you right now. You should probably work as long as you possibly can and as much as you can, because that means you defer Social Security as long as you can up to age 70. And you can keep working past that. That's fine. But at age 70, you have to turn it on because you've maximized it there. And you've created the largest possible payment, and you're going to need all of that.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Thanks for joining me today. Oh, I'm Gregory Ricks. Welcome to the show. Glad you could join us today. If you want to know a little bit about me, and maybe you're new to the show, go to GregoryRicks.com. I'm CEO, founder of Gregory Ricks and Associates, the Total Wealth Authority, advisors and retirement strategies. You know, our mission is to help you have success with creating a successful retirement, one that you're happy with less worry, less stress. Help with the money, help with planning, and help with confidence. You can reach out to the office. 504-832-9200 is the office number. As I mentioned, the website is gregoryricks.com. The news blog has a lot of articles put up there from my reading, and there's a number of resources on the website as well. And the website shares with you our process if you're wanting to start with having a first visit to get to know us and see how we might be able to help you with your planning, with your retirement, or some areas you're having difficulty with and not sure what to do. And it can be an exploratory conversation, no obligation. We're not going to charge you any fee for that visit, and cover, if we work together, we'll cover all that in the visit. And once again, that process is on the website of the various steps that you go through on there. And typically we set those meetings for 60 minutes. We have a little bit of flexibility if we run a little bit over. Yes, but that's kind of the plan, is it, for 60 minutes, especially if you go in there like, oh, Lord, should I go? I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be there all day. They won't let me out if I don't sign any paperwork. No, none of that happens that way. There is no expectation. There's zero expectation that you're going to become a client or even want to go forward on that first visit. If you do or ask to, that's okay too, but there's not an expectation, because this is a great get to know you visit on both sides. And then we will show you a document at the end that lists the various things we will go to work for you on to have a visit on the next discussion. And part of that is creating a financial plan, is doing a tax analysis, a Social Security analysis, and many other items as well that could provide you information and help. One is a risk analysis, like what is your risk number? Yeah, how do you grade there on risk tolerance? And people, it's a wide range, scoring from, say, 1 to 100. We have some people score high 70s, high 80s, meaning they're fine with risk. Typically, they're younger people. But my gosh, that's kind of a high number to have, because sometimes they may test that way, but they really may not be that way. I think most people have balance on the 40 to 60 range. And also, we have people that score on that in the 10 range. You get that very, very conservative there. So basically, when they score, say, 10, 15, 20, or even less, you know what they're wanting? No risk. Very little. They're basically risk averse. Are there strategies for that? Absolutely. There is. There was a case recently we looked at where a person wanted more absolute on their retirement plan. And what they were looking for is no risk and certainty going forward on their monthly income. They didn't want any movement. They weren't trying to get market growth. They wanted to create a plan where they're getting a fixed amount through the rest of retirement. In essence, this household, they were wanting to create basically their own pension. And you wonder how we would do that? Well, that's this cool tool called fixed annuities, where you can basically lock in a payment. And we're probably going to structure that to where and one of my suggestions, and the team is putting this together for that household, but what I suggested, and I'm always involved in the planning. You won't sit down with me directly, but I'm always involved with the advisors, and that's one of the things we do on Fridays is we present cases that's upcoming the next week, and we as a team speak about it. And that's where, people say, well, am I going to get to see Gregory? Do I see Brandon? Do I see Nicholas? Do I see Luke or Mason or Janae? What you're getting is same core philosophy. Or you kind of say, which one? Well, I want the more experienced one. Well, you're getting the firm's experience. You're getting the firm's philosophy. And we all help each other be better because we talk about those cases and make sure we're all on the same page. You're not getting a different philosophy per advisor. You're getting the firm philosophy. And because of the team concept, you're getting all of that knowledge base there. And I think that's really important from that standpoint. And we talked about this yesterday, and where some people kind of on opposite ends, they said, well, gosh, Mason, you look kind of young. Looks can be deceiving, and maybe he is young. He's in his 20s, and it's not the only advisor I have in their 20s. But oh my gosh, the knowledge and ability there. Very intelligent, our advisors are. And then you could have on the other end, let's say somebody was meeting with me. I'm 65. Like, are you retiring? I don't want an advisor that's 65 because they might want to retire here soon. I'm looking for somebody that I can work with for quite a while. And that's where at the firm, we have a mix of ages. And yeah, I'm at the top end, but I'm CEO founder of the firm. So you're not going to have to worry about, am I going to retire? I don't plan to retire. I'm going to be there for quite a while. But with that said, you're not going to worry that I'm going to become your go-to advisor and you're like, oh my gosh, now Gregory's retiring. Which one do I work with? You're always getting a team concept. And guess what? You're getting my 40 years of knowledge and experience layered in there as well, because I'm very involved in the planning and the coaching and the prep and the group discussions as well. And we did training over the past 2 days. Guess what? I was pretty involved from that. So I think that's important to understand when you're coming in for a meeting and what all you're getting. And then you've got analysts helping the advisors, and then a super experienced service team, which we've got some of our service team members that are licensed as well. So tremendous experience from essentially 20 plus people to help you, which we kind of group them in groups of 5 as the teams that are supporting the advisors that are helping you. And another thing is I started to say relentless communication. And I don't think that's a bad way to describe it, but we keep in touch. And that's important, that you're going to be reached out to every quarter to see how you're doing. Is there any questions, any concerns? And if we've got some updates for you and something you should know about what's going on and stuff, we will let you know about that. That's a phone call that happens quarterly. Now, with that said, you do have weekly and monthly emails that go out. You've got a newsletter that goes out to you to keep you up to date. And of course, anytime you have a concern, you reach out, you're going to get somebody live on the phone during hours. We have a service that picks up during lunch hour, and during off hours, we have a service that picks that up. And we get an email within minutes. You have a conversation off hours, we're getting an email that goes to certain people on the team, and we have an awareness of that even after hours of what's going on, and is there something critical as well. So that's kind of experience what you get from the team as a whole and the support staff, and why you should feel good about coming in for a meeting and starting a conversation to see maybe this might be the home for you and help you with your retirement planning and execution for several decades ahead. We're going to take a short break. You are listening to Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I am near retirement, and I wish I would have been listening to y'all for the last couple of years.
Learn the ins, outs, do's, don'ts, rules, and tools of the financial world.
I have a broker. He has no idea what you and I just talked about.
From your 401k to your IRA to your pension to your Social Security to your Medicare.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate your service to the community.
From your ETFs to your precious metals.
The program helps to ground me. There's some personal, real life there.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And wherever else you can find podcasts, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Hey, I love your show.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. The firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
What does your ideal retirement look like? Is it traveling the world, fishing whenever you want, spending time with the grandkids, or maybe you don't know yet? Hi, I'm Gregory Ricks. Let us help you plan the retirement you deserve. Give us a call or go to GregoryRicks.com to schedule a visit. We are Gregory Ricks & Associates, the Total Wealth Authority.
The firm provides insurance services, investment, and advisory services. Offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management, LLC, and Gregory Ricks & Associates are not affiliated companies.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can listen to the show live, or you can hear a replay of the latest episode of Winning at Life. Whether you're getting a late start on your retirement savings or keeping up with the financial news, Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is there on demand. Hear the Winning at Life show on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
We are living in historic times, extraordinary times. A lot of people need help right now, and I want you to remember your local food bank. Now here in New Orleans, it's Second Harvest Food Bank. Over in Mobile, they've got Feeding the Gulf. But you can find your local food bank, feedingamerica.org. Food donations, monetary donations, or I know you've got some free time. Find your local food bank. Support your local food bank, especially in times like this. Do some good. feedingamerica.org.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is a copyright of Down South Strategies for the private use of our audience. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without express consent is prohibited. For podcasts, show information, and contacts to our sponsors, go to winningatlife.com or download the Winning at Life app. If you have a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory. We are Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. It's never been done before. President Trump firing more than 4,000 federal workers during a government shutdown. Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House.
Spokesperson for the White House Budget Office says layoffs are substantial. A group of unions representing federal workers is suing, asking a federal judge in San Francisco to block the firings.
President Trump openly admits he's targeting programs favored by Democrats because they voted against keeping the government open. A powerful nor'easter is threatening the Atlantic coast over the next few days.
A storm set to thrash the coastal Carolinas, then hit the Northeast over the weekend and into Columbus Day Monday. Delaware and New Jersey should prepare for major coastal flooding.
Fox's Carmen Roberts, New Jersey, declared a state of emergency. America is listening to Fox News.
Welcome back. This is Winning at Life, the financial show. Been doing it for about 15 years. For newbies, if you just joined us, check us out at GregoryRicks.com. Was just kind of giving you an experience of what I do in my day job in the last segment. First segment, we were talking about government shutdowns. And I want to pick back up there because I think that's important, because there's things that happen from time to time that creates worry, creates concern, creates opportunities, creates downturns. It'd be real easy if we knew when, but we don't. And there's always that ebb and flow. And if you look at a stock market chart of the S&P 500 and look at it over the past 80 years, and I think it's fair to look at it over a quite a bit of time so you can kind of see all those ebb and flows of it climbing up and then the drops ever so often. And that's a part of it, is time in. And trying to time the market is problematic. But having time in also gives you opportunities to take advantage of. One of the things where you can be more aggressive during your working life, because you're not depending on it to take income from, you're going the other direction of putting money in for that money to grow over time. And that's also, instead of being fearful during downturns, you ought to be optimistic that, hey, things are on sale. I'm getting an opportunity. Now, when you're shifting towards retirement, that's where you need more balance. You need to not carry all of your assets or even a high percentage in risk. Why? Because you're taking income from, and if you're doing it from a risk portfolio, you're selling off risk items to generate cash to go into your personal account. And if it's risk items and the market's downturn, you're then selling at reduced prices. Hence, you're locking in losses. You're not going to get those back. So we would rather income comes from a place of stability. So think about that as well. We want stability. So that's where there has to be some sort of balance. And once again, investing to build retirement is something that should be done over decades. And on the other end, taking income from assets, I hope for you, you're taking it over decades as well and have a long life in retirement and a long retirement. On either side, we have today. That's what we have. We don't know about tomorrow. Something could happen and we're no longer here, is what I'm speaking about. But we have an expectation of having tomorrow and the day after, and that's what we plan for. We don't plan to die today or tomorrow. We plan to die decades from now, is the common outlook. So what I had covered with you, let me get back to my notes here on what I'd covered with you that up to this point. We kind of have talked about what's going on, and kind of the last thing I mentioned to you is travel could be impacted. So if you're looking to travel, check on flight schedules and timing of that. Just have an awareness of that. So what kind of impact could it have on the stock market and the economy? In addition to hundreds of thousands of federal workers furloughed, a government shutdown could delay release of economic data. Well, what I heard is some of those people are coming back to work so that we do get the data out. It's really important. It's really important to the CPI, which impacts decisions on Social Security rate increase. So what they're wanting to do is make sure those reports go out here mid-October. Report may not be in jeopardy any longer. The inflation report is a key metric for the Federal Reserve when making interest rate decisions. On Wall Street, markets have historically been resilient across 20 government shutdowns since 1976. The markets have averaged a 0.05% gain. Source of that's Wall Street Journal. But that has to make you feel good that, you know what, this is not some big disruption to your investment account. Stocks climbed 10% during the 2018 shutdown, but in total it cost the economy some $11 billion. And let me give you a couple other takes here as well. So let's talk about economic data, and it's kind of all over the place, but GDP keeps growing in spite of signs of weakness in the labor market. Tariff policy is volatile. Immigration has slowed. Monetary policy has tightened in 23 through 24, with the M2 measure of money declining and real short-term interest rates consistently higher than any time since 2010. And yes, the money supply, M2 money supply, grew 4.8% in the past year, but this is slower than the pre-COVID trend of 6%. And by virtually any valuation metric, price to earnings, price to sales, and our capitalized profit models, the stock market grew expensive. Yet, what does it do? It keeps moving higher, with investors showing no sign of worrying about anything. Interesting, though, even with government shutdown looming, markets don't seem to be worried at all, in spite of talking heads and analysts warning this could cause a recession. Yes, that is kind of a worry out there, but there's no evidence of a link between the shutdowns and recessions. In the past 30 years, the government has been shut down for a grand total of, get this, 80 days. Do you know how much of those 80 days we were in a recession? Come on, guess. Zero. Zilch. Nada. In other words, the U.S. economy has been less likely to be in a recession when the government has been shut down than when it's open. Hey, shutdown's maybe not a bad thing. If it's shut down, they can't make things worse, can they? In fact, the closest a recession followed these shutdowns was 14 months after the 2018 through 19 shutdown, and that recession was actually due to what? COVID. That's right. None of this is to say that a recession couldn't possibly follow on the heels of a government shutdown, but it could happen. But if we get a recession, it's going to be due to other factors like tighter monetary and volatile tariffs, not the shutdown. Nor is a shutdown going to lead to some sort of emergency. The Treasury Department would still receive revenue, and entitlement payments will still go out for Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Treasury bondholders would get paid in full, both principal and interest. The military, Border Control, Weather Service, FAA, and the Post Office, among other operations, will still continue. What would make this shutdown different is the posture of the Trump administration. Normally, essential federal employees continue to work and non-essential employees stay home. When the shutdown ends, everybody gets paid. But this time, the president is kind of playing some hardball. The administration is telling agencies and departments to make lists of non-essential employees who could be permanently let go, which means that after the shutdown, many of the workers would not have a job to go back to. Something to think about. Something to think about. Well, hey, let's talk more about winning at life, winning with your money. We'll be right back.
If you've got a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory.
I started my retirement about 5 years ago, and I truly am late in life.
Would I be better to just withdraw the money out of my TSP and pay that mortgage off?
My problem is I have champagne tasting of your salary. What is a balloon note?
Is that cutting it too close?
So will I still be eligible for Medicare?
Is there anything better I can do with the money I transferred into the Roth from my 401k? My goal is to retire at age 60. I'm 54 right now.
Hey, I have a 9-year-old son, and he's got probably $2,500 in. Is there anything we can invest it in?
And I just started a 401k a little late in life.
Then I should be like 10%.
Now, how far in advance do you recommend that someone goes to visit the Social Security office?
I want some money in a casino playing poker.
Gregory Ricks and Associates, 504-832-9200 or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
When I was growing up, my mom relied on old wives' tales to get rid of outdoor bugs. One method included putting 2 pennies in a bag of water and hanging them throughout the backyard. And let's not forget Mom's go-to, the citronella candle, which never worked. It's the 20s. We have science and much more thorough ways to get rid of bugs. Call Mosquito Joe. Mosquito Joe has this time-release capsule that they spray that slowly releases their mosquito death over a course of a month. Because mosquitoes suck. NewOrleans.mosquitojoe.com.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I'm your host, Gregory Ricks, a financial advisor here to answer your questions and help you win with your money.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Simple information from good people.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
I'm young. I'm 22 years old, and I'm just now starting to get into the 401k and the percentage and stuff. How much money do I need to save to, retire at around, 60, 65 years old?
So first off, one of the first rules, if you're getting a match, you need to get 100% of the match. The match is free money. Those that are putting off turning on their 401k because I need that money every month. No, you need to get the match. That's the priority. What's great for you is you're taking advantage of one of the greatest things on the planet, and that's compound interest and time. At age 22, you're not going to have to put away a lot to achieve this goal versus if you wait to 35 or 40, it's going to seem like a mountainous task.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging in there. We're at our 4th segment of the first hour of Winning at Life. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. If you want to know more about me, go to GregoryRicks.com. I've got some downloads. I'm going to give you some offers out there, but not in this segment, but we always have stuff for you to help you. Let's see. I have book topics. My book I'm going to share with you as well. And we're going to cover through that essentially at the top of the hour as well. So excited about that. Some of the things that we have upcoming to help you. Here's a topic I'd like to share with you. and may have touched on it a little bit in the past, but I think this is helpful. Are you expecting to work in retirement? Are you expecting to have a partial retirement? Some people choose to continue working in retirement because they enjoy their job and want to increase their social interaction. But others are forced to keep working to make ends meet. That may be a big reason why people continue to work in retirement. I think the marketplace needs you to keep working. It's not a bad thing if your work is not too hard, not too stressful, not too physical, but you enjoy it. It keeps you connected. It gives you purpose. You're probably just putting out there, you might well live longer because you have purpose. You keep your mind busy. You keep being physically active. So this could be a good thing. According to CNBC, about 17% of working retirees say they work because they want to, while 11% say they need to. Some retirees work seasonally, part-time or full-time, depending on their capacity and their need. You know, over the past number of years, I've been asked that, well, Gregory, what does retirement look for you? What are you thinking? And such. And I'm like, retire from what? I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm very involved in the company. I'm very involved helping clients. I'm very involved helping the advisors, helping clients. And I love learning and going to conferences, and my challenge is how do things make. So that's kind of how I see it. Is that how you see it where you're at? So kind of think about that. And I'm one on board to keep working. I hope I physically, mentally, and all are able to go for a long time. So what are the benefits for working in retirement? Partial retirement gives you more time to increase your savings. You can keep accumulating money. See, I can keep accumulating money by working. More than 1 in 4 Americans have nothing saved for their retirement years, according to Yahoo Finance. That's why people are needing to continue working right there and doing a partial retirement. Working in retirement can help you avoid claiming Social Security too early. Because if you don't have enough saved, you should prepare to work longer. Why? So you can save money and you can put off starting Social Security so it can keep increasing until you do turn it on. And even if you're working past age 70, you're going to want to turn it on at your 70th birthday. Absolutely no-brainer right there. Not a decision. You have to do it. Working in retirement can also avoid you making bad decisions by turning it on too early as well. So waiting past full retirement age to claim your benefits can help you grow the benefit amount as much as 8% a year until age 70. Continue to work in some capacity can help you maintain structure and avoid feelings of loneliness as you stay connected with coworkers and friends. Partial retirement can also help you stay healthy, both mentally and physically. That was shared by Investopedia. Are there any potential drawbacks to a partial retirement? Yeah, and this is serious right here. Certain high-stress jobs, whether mentally or physically, may take too much of a toll on your health if you work. I know people that's retired because of their stressful jobs, whether it was mentally or physically as well. If you do not strategize for added income you earn in retirement, you might end up facing tax penalties or reductions to your Social Security benefits. There's a tax factor that plays in there. You should consider that. Either way, whether normal full retirement or even the partial retirement, you need to have strategies for taxes. It's important to look carefully at your unique financial situation to determine if the pros outweighs the cons. A financial advisor could well help you through making these kind of decisions. Do you need health coverage? If you want to retire before age 65, you can qualify for Medicare coverage. You can qualify for Medicare coverage. You may want to consider partial retirement, waiting till where you can turn on coverage at 65. So that might be one reason you keep working to pay for that health care coverage. It's expensive. So if you're looking to retire prior to 65, gosh, that is something you've got to think about. If you start Medicare coverage while working, keep in mind that your income can affect your Medicare premiums. And what you make this year is impacting 2 years out on Medicare premiums. Okay. And dropping and rejoining Medicare can be a complicated process, so consult a financial professional to avoid any penalties. And suggesting there, if you're looking for help on that Medicare decision, and I'm going to talk about Medicare in today's show some in the next hour as well. So can you afford? Well, let's go back and talk about delaying on Social Security. Social Security isn't meant to fund your whole retirement, but it's important to get the most out of your monthly benefits. Working longer can help you delay claiming Social Security and grow your benefit amount. If you plan to work part-time in retirement and still claim Social Security, keep in mind that 85% of your Social Security benefit is taxable if your income is above certain limits. Many people take Social Security at age 62, but starting to collect early permanently reduces your benefits by as much as 30%. Next part to consider, can you afford the extra income? So make sure the extra income you earn from working in retirement doesn't become a tax burden. If you're receiving Social Security benefits, taking a required minimum distribution and earning a wage, it may bump you into a higher tax bracket. So carefully track your income and plan accordingly to make sure you're not caught off guard when tax filing season rolls around. Another point about Social Security, earning extra income can impact your Social Security benefits. If you're under full retirement age, you will have $1 deducted from your payment for every $2 you earn above the limit. And for 2025, that limit is $23,400, according to Social Security Administration. So hopefully this helps you a little bit on that decision. Another great source is utilizing a financial advisor, an advisory firm. And we have a great team of people to kind of help with those decisions, working through that process. And it's not just managing your money. I think it's important to have conversations, a sounding board, somebody to help you with those decisions. Maybe ask you questions about have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And help you work through that. And there's a lot more added value, so it can be peace of mind. You might average a higher return, possibly, just possibly. So consider reaching out to our team of advisors at Gregory Ricks and Associates. That number is 504-832-9200. You can email us info@gregoryricks.com. And you know the website, it's gregoryricks.com. So go check us out, reach out to us. We're not going to be threatening. We're very easy to get along with. Start that conversation, and let's see if we can find you some help. Help is always good. Don't want to have a stressful retirement. Don't want to be behind the 8 ball as well. There's the music. Going to take a short break. We'll be back shortly for hour 2 of Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, comes from the Mortgage Gumbo Studios.
Your locally trusted home loan lender, MortgageGumbo.com.
Peace efforts moving forward. I'm Roger Stern, Fox News. The first phase of a Gaza peace deal taking place, with Israel beginning to redeploy troops to previously agreed lines and a ceasefire in effect. Fox's Jennifer Griffin tells us how the deal was achieved.
Senior administration officials said a key moment and breakthrough in the talks came when U.S. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Cooper, who was in Sharm el-Sheikh for the talks, told negotiators the U.S. military could establish a ceasefire monitoring base within 2.5 weeks. Negotiators became convinced that a breakthrough was possible because they had indications Hamas was beginning to view the Israeli hostages as a burden. 500,000 Palestinians have already returned to their homes. Thousands have been streaming up the coast, up the northern road in a mass exodus.
There are believed to be 48 hostages still in Gaza, about 20 of whom are thought to be alive. A hostage swap is expected and could be completed this weekend. The S&P 500 suffered its biggest one-day drop since April as the U.S. goes on the economic offense against China. Fox's Alexandria Hoff in Washington.
The president threatening new tariffs on China on social media, saying he would implement a 100% tariff on Chinese imports plus export controls on all critical software. This fury sparked by China's new export restrictions on rare earth minerals, which also includes restrictions on equipment used to mine rare earth, forcing exporters to apply for licenses, and the rejecting of export requests for products used in military goods. Because of this, President Trump also suggested the possibility of canceling his planned meeting with President Xi. Now, the trade truce between the U.S. and China is still in effect, but it is set to expire in less than a month.
Economists warn tariffs will hurt American consumers and businesses. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks. By the way, I'm Gregory Ricks. Howdy. Thanks for joining us today on this beautiful weekend. Hopefully it's sunny and moderate temperatures where you are. That's where I'm at. Yeah, that's what I'm enjoying. Awesome weekend, and so glad you're joining us here on Winning at Life. A couple things I wanted to mention to you. I've got a few things to help you, and with some of the subjects I'm covering today. Social Security Decisions Guide. And this Social Security is a huge decision. One of the biggest. I'll put a monetary value. Some people make the decisions on turning on Social Security by happenstance, and I don't think you should. I think you should take it seriously. And it's both members of the household in consideration of each other, and it should be a household discussion that works to making the household decision, making the household better financially. That doesn't mean both of you have to wait either to turn it on. One might turn theirs on earlier, even pre-full retirement age, where the other that's deferring might go past that. And a reason for that also is who's leaving behind the larger benefit. And that's might be one of the things to concentrate on is the survivor benefit. Because when a member of the household dies, either the husband or the wife, the smaller Social Security check essentially is going away. So it leaves the larger benefit. So that's what we also have to have a consideration of. You have to consider your health in determining this, how it applies to income, how to max overall income. And if you're going to struggle on deferring, you might need what I call a Social Security bridge. And that's how can we utilize assets so you can defer Social Security, because you might feel, well, I'm really needing that Social Security income. I want that. Well, let's look at, and maybe we can create a Social Security bridge so you can defer to having a longer term benefit. And if your health is really good, you are most likely planning for a much longer life. So those are some of the things. So I have a guide here to help you start thinking about that. And it's a Social Security decisions guide. So go to GregoryRicks.com/Social Security to get that important piece. And then reach out to us, because one of the things we do, and if you come in for a visit with us, there's a number of pieces we want to put together for you to discuss on a second visit. And one of those is a Social Security analysis. And we'll do that for you for coming in and talking with us. And this is something we do for clients that we do every year going forward until they both turn on their Social Security benefits. Once they turn it on, really no need to continue that. But there's other things that we keep doing analysis on and looking going forward. But that's an important one about Social Security. So once again, Social Security Decisions Guide. Go to GregoryRicks.com/Social Security. And I'm going to give you another one here. And this is because interest rates, we got a recent reduction in interest rates. Awesome. We were expecting it. We're expecting a couple more quarter point reductions. Maybe this fall. And maybe another into the first quarter of 2026. So we're expecting some reduction in interest rates. Yeah, that's going to help on mortgages, but that's going to hurt on short-term money because you're going to get less. Another financial tool out there a lot of people have gotten, some through our firm, a lot elsewhere, and you're probably not getting the service that you should on those. You're not having people check on you on a quarterly basis, and you may have questions and can't get help. Then call us. I suggest you call us anyhow. We are very versed in that arena. And that would be whether it's variable annuities or fixed annuities. And longtime listeners know I'm not a fan of variable annuities. Doesn't mean we're not versed in them, because we are. With that said, we can have discussion with both types. But my concern here is those that have the fixed interest annuities or fixed indexed annuities, and knowing at renewals those rates are probably going to go down. And this is an opportunity before rates get down a whole percentage over the next 12 months. This might be a chance to revisit what you have and maybe do an upgrade or update and lock in the current yields for a longer period. So if you've picked up those annuities over, say, the past 20 years, definitely the past 10 to 15, you have annuities that were tied to very low interest rate environment, not this environment where interest rates went up the past 3, 4, 5 years. So that sweet spot of it being more than 4 years in place up to 10 to 15 out, you need to hear it. Write my number down, 504-832-9200. Call right now and leave a message at the office. Somebody's going to pick up the phone, answer your call, and let us know that you called. You can go to the website, set up a visit there, or reach out saying, hey, I'm not sure if you could help me on this, but I've got some questions. You might could just do a 15-minute call. We can do a video meeting with you, as we refer to that as a Zoom call. So, well, you go to the website, there's a place to click to set up a Zoom call. And there's a chat box where you can request some help as well. But if you've got an annuity that's been in place for a while, you need to call us. Regardless of who you picked it up from, we can help you. We're very versed in that arena as well. And I've got a guide for you as well. Well, I'm not so sure. You got some other information before I reach out to you. Okay, yes, I've got something to help. Have you purchased an annuity in the last 20 years? Then you need to download this document. Go to GregoryRicks.com/upgrade. And take advantage of the higher rates today before they continue downward, and you can lock in some great opportunities going forward. So once again, if you've purchased an annuity in the last 20 years, doesn't matter who from, reach out to us. Go to GregoryRicks.com/upgrade. That's a great piece right there. One of the things I want to share with you at this point, because sometimes I forget or do it later in the show, we have a lot of sponsors that help you as well. Dwayne Stein of mortgage.com, mortgagegumbo.com. I cut part of that off, so corrected that. Mortgagegumbo.com. I just keep trying to say mortgage.com. That's not going to get you there. So Dwayne Stein, most of you know him, regular contributor on the show and a sponsor of Winning at Life. Then Jude Heath of J. Heath Company CPAs. We recently had him on the show as well. Great stuff. And love their tax firm. Great at helping you. And sometimes we talk about this in the past where somebody hadn't filed a tax return, like, oh my gosh, I'm behind. I don't have all my stuff. I usually do it myself. I'm in a bind. It's one reason you should have help on doing that, because they're going to nudge you and say, look, let's get this done. You're creating yourself financial stress if you don't get it done. If you've not done it in a few years, another reason to reach out to Jude Heath, CPAs. And any of these sponsors, Dwayne Stein, Jude Heath, Wesley Blanchard, there's connectors on my website, GregoryRicks.com. And Wes Blanchard, W.J. Blanchard Law. And you're familiar with him because of estate planning. And that's something when should I do that? When I retire? When I get sick? When I get old? No, now. Are you walking and breathing? Say, yeah, I'm not married or anything. Do I have to do it? Well, you probably should. You probably own some stuff. You probably have some Roth money, some savings account, bank, car. What if something happens to you? Where do you want that to go? If you become incapacitated, who is making decisions on your behalf? Just saying, why now? Married couple, y'all have got each other. You need to give direction. Act on that now. Reach out to us and we can help give you guidance on that. Well, I didn't even get through my list. We're going to continue and pick right back up there when we come back from the other side of this break. You're listening to Winning at Life. I am your host, Gregory Ricks. We'll be right back.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Could this be your Social Security, your 401k, pension, lump sum, your debt, student debt, credit cards?
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years. Sometimes I'll pull up to the side of the road and just listen.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hello, Gumbo Nation. This is Dwayne Stein with Mortgage Gumbo. Are you ready to get off the sideline to purchase your first home, but thinking, what the, who the, how the? Well, I'm your guy. As your local home loan lender, Mortgage Gumbo Dad Cam has been guiding clients just like you. Buying a home can be scary, but the process shouldn't be. Just ask my thousands of clients. Let me earn your trust today. Visit MortgageGumbo.com.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can hear the Ask Gregory podcast, where you'll find episodes based on a financial topic. So if you're looking for help on a specific situation, there's a good chance you'll find it on the Ask Gregory podcast, including episodes on 401ks, taxes, stocks, Social Security, gold, and whether or not you should buy an RV. Hear the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
2 questions. Do you have a pulse? Do you own anything? If you said yes to both, you probably need a will. You may even need a trust. We all know a lawyer. Do you know someone who specializes in estate planning? Do you really trust the husband of your sister's friend from college? Or would you feel better putting your family in the hands of the estate planning attorney of the Total Wealth Authority? I'm Wes Blanchard. What's your plan? Offices in Metairie and at wjblanchardlaw.com.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
If you do not have money set aside, you do not have retirement assets, you don't have significant savings, you're thinking, well, when should I turn on Social Security? I'll answer that for you right now. You should probably work as long as you possibly can and as much as you can, because that means you defer Social Security as long as you can up to age 70. And you can keep working past that. That's fine. But at age 70, you have to turn it on because you've maximized it there. And you've created the largest possible payment, and you're going to need all of that.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
All righty. This is Winning at Life. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. Find out more about me, go to GregoryRicks.com. And when I went to break, I was talking about some of the show sponsors. Dwayne Stein of MortgageGumbo.com, Jude Heath of J. Heath Company CPAs, Wesley Blanchard, W.J. Blanchard Law, New Orleans Mosquito Joe. You know I don't like mosquitoes. Do you? I think some people like them. I wish all my neighbors would use them. Then we could get them out the whole area. But what happens on my property, it kind of creates a perimeter. I like that. I like to go sit out on the swing, nice evening breeze, and not have to worry about mosquitoes. neworleans.mosquitojoe.com. Tell them, look, all these sponsors, tell them Gregory sent you as well. Spitali's Deli and Catering in Metairie, Louisiana. A great resource for good food. Hey, show wouldn't be possible either without Gregory Ricks and Associates. Think about that. Go to GregoryRicks.com as well. So Gregory Ricks and Associates is a show sponsor. Advisors and retirement strategies. I've got another new one here, and I'm give them a shout out because Pat says they're wanting to become a regular sponsor of the show. So I'm going to nudge them because here you go, Pat Huber of First South Farm Credit. That's right. .com. But it's not the that's right.com. Let's do it again. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com is their website. Pat Huber is the person I know there that I've actually worked with. And the phone number, 985-748-8655. And I'm going to jump over to their website here for a moment. Let's see if I can help myself help you. But here's what they say on the website. Loans for land, new farmers, and agriculture. So all of our listeners don't live in the city. Some of our listeners are wanting to expand their farm, buy some land, and such there. And they have a simplified loan process for doing this. So if you're eyeing some land, wanting to do something like that, this is kind of their jam. And even on their website, explore the rural lifestyle. You know, I talk to people from time to time that's wanting to pick up some land and stuff. I've worked with them as well. They are great. So once again, this is a sponsor that's probably joining us as a show sponsor as well. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Check them out, and depending on where your listening area is, they're just not in one area. They have offices all over. So on the website, you can go there and type in, they got a button, say, find your loan officer for your area to help with you on that. So once again, great resource. And tell Pat or whoever you speak with, Gregory sent you as well. And another great one here. Once again, all of these people I know. I don't put a sponsor out just because they pay us or something, because in most cases I have skins in the game with them. I know them. And JJSaudiovideo.com. Oh, Jeff over there is pretty awesome. You know, in this day of technology and systems, to have your TVs working and sound system or security cameras, security system, some of those things, you know what? They kind of glitch sometimes, or you just might be like me and can't always fix those things or tweak it or want to take the time to figure it out. And Jeff, he is great at that stuff. And even if you want to build an awesome home movie theater, say, I don't like going out to movie theaters anymore. Well, build one in your home. So his website is jjsaudiovideo.com, 504-638-0906. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody out there, and show them some love because they help make this show possible as well. Here's a topic for you I want to share. Because what this show is about is helping you make better decisions with your money and to help you save and accumulate. When should you start? Now. When should you start planning for retirement? Now. What is a critical point? If you've not created a relationship with a financial firm and an advisor, you should start now. But what is a critical point again? If you're thinking that you're retiring and you've already started thinking about a date, like, I don't see that as being that far off, and you've kind of put a date on it or a year, if you're thinking that, you need to call and start a conversation. You need to form a relationship with an advisor that gives you confidence and you're comfortable working with. I'm kind of biased to our firm looking out for you, and you should make that call. If you're, well, Gregory, I need a more specific timeline. Well, how about 5 years before that date? Well, most of my money's in a 401k. Give us a call, because we will help you with decisions on your 401k to make sure that's aligning with what you're doing. How's that going to work when you retire? Let's make good decisions and have diversification inside of your 401k. And how much income is going to generate, and start creating a plan for post-retirement. I think those are important things that you need to decide on and get that relationship going. Well, Gregory, I don't want to pay a fee. Well, you're paying a fee in your 401k. The do-it-yourself stuff you're doing, there's costs inside of that. Working with us may not increase it that much. But what do we add value to in all these different areas we work with you? We potentially you could make more return. Why? Because then you're going to have guidance on making better decisions. And then there's other side benefits as well that could help you. Estate planning, tax planning. Those are huge things that you need to decide on. Medicare decisions, Social Security decisions. If you can make better decisions and that in itself increases your income over time, potentially increasing your return on assets, and all that can well offset having an advisor on your team and paying for that. Think of it as hiring a coach. I continually educate myself, and how have we become such a great company in the financial industry, and I believe we are a great company. Why? Because I hire coaches, and I don't get them for free. I spend money from that. And why? Because I want to be better. We want our team to be better as well. And so I have a number of those that we pay, and it does result in us being better. Sometimes, I have to think about that fee, like, oh my gosh, that's expensive. But in the long term, it's going to make us so much better at what we do. This enables us to be better for the clients. And that's why I think you should consider hiring a coach, working with a financial advisor, because what you also have to worry about, what is it you don't know? What are you not thinking about? And let me see, can you mess up retirement and have a do-over? Really? Can you? I've seen this happen, and do-overs don't go well because they're well into their retirement. And now they're finding out they're coming up short. Had a discussion a few years back with a family, and the wife was crying, and the husband was just sitting there, and she says, we're here for you to help stop the bleeding. 20 minutes in, I've said, well, it's kind of too late for that. We needed to have this discussion a good while back. They're in a financial mess and cannot support the lifestyle long because the money is going to run out. Do you want to be in that situation? You should have somebody you're working with and have that discussion. A paying advisor in comparison would have been minute compared to those losses they experienced. When I come back from the break, I'm going to cover 7 things you should own in retirement, according to Kevin Lum. This is Winning at Life. We'll be right back.
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I am near retirement, and I wish I would have been listening to y'all for the last couple of years.
Learn the ins, outs, do's, don'ts, rules, and tools of the financial world.
I have a broker. He has no idea what you and I just talked about.
From your 401k to your IRA to your pension to your Social Security to your Medicare.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate your service to the community.
From your ETFs to your precious metals.
The program helps to ground me. There's some personal, real life there.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and wherever else you can find podcasts, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Hey, I love your show.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. The firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
What does your ideal retirement look like? Is it traveling the world, fishing whenever you want, spending time with the grandkids, or maybe you don't know yet? Hi, I'm Gregory Ricks. Let us help you plan the retirement you deserve. Give us a call or go to GregoryRicks.com to schedule a visit. We are Gregory Ricks & Associates, the Total Wealth Authority.
The firm provides insurance services, investment, and advisory services. Offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management, LLC, and Gregory Ricks & Associates are not affiliated companies.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can listen to the show live, or you can hear a replay of the latest episode of Winning at Life. Whether you're getting a late start on your retirement savings or keeping up with the financial news, Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is there on demand. Hear the Winning at Life show on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
We are living in historic times, extraordinary times. A lot of people need help right now, and I want you to remember your local food bank. Now here in New Orleans, it's Second Harvest Food Bank. Over in Mobile, they've got Feeding the Gulf. But you can find your local food bank, feedingamerica.org. Food donations, monetary donations, or I know you've got some free time. Find your local food bank. Support your local food bank, especially in times like this. Do some good. feedingamerica.org.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is a copyright of Down South Strategies for the private use of our audience. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without express consent is prohibited. For podcasts, show information, and contacts to our sponsors, go to winningatlife.com or download the Winning at Life app. If you have a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory. We are Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
News. I'm Paul Stevens. Preparations continue in Israel and Gaza for a prisoner hostage exchange.
We are within the 72-hour window that Hamas has to release the remaining hostages, and President Trump is set to be on the ground Monday in the region when he expects that to happen. With the ceasefire in effect, Israeli troops have pulled back to the agreed line in Gaza as part of the first phase of this agreement to end the war.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. A big nor'easter with heavy rain and wind hitting the East Coast from the Carolinas to New England.
If you live anywhere near the ocean or the bays or the rivers or inlets that go out to the ocean, be aware of what the flooding threat is in your area, because it's very variable up and down the coast. And then all the way up to the New Hampshire line, there are flood alerts there as well.
Fox Weather's Brian Norcross. America's listening to Fox News.
How is your day going? Hopefully it's good. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. We'd like feedback from you as well about the show. Hey, even topic requests. And if you like the show, share it with others. There's some resources out there online where you can go share. And hey, over on our Facebook page, we have the Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks Facebook page, the Gregory Ricks and Associates page. Also, my personal is Gregory Ricks, so you can go check out those pages as well. And connect if you want to through that as well. Look, it's a safe place. I don't have any strategy or marketing or that also we're going to push stuff out to you or you get lit up by us as well. I look at it as creating resources for you as well. And you can find out more about that on the website. Also, our YouTube channel is a great place for resources as well. So we're doing a great deal of work to make sure you're educated and have those resources to make better decisions. And we're talking about our podcast, creating a live midweekish podcast as well. We've added Chris to our team, and he and I was discussing that earlier about getting that moving forward. He's doing some great things for helping us make the show better and the podcast better as well. You'll be hearing more things from him as well. Okay, 7 things you should own in retirement, according to Kevin Lum. So have you thought about this? What you should own? Well, think about this. Retirement comes with new priorities, and having the right essentials can make all the difference. So maybe we can give you a little bit of help here. And this, I added something to my home as well under this topic, and that's a home gym. Think about it, like, what? I'm in retirement. Why should I have a gym? Because you should exercise. I have a health coach. Why? I want to stay healthy. It's part of my lifestyle. I have a nutrition coach. And yeah, I have a few doctors. You know what they are? They're coaches as well. I bet you have a doctor too. Okay, so that's kind of a medical coach. But what they the nutritionist and health coach has been really after me about this, is to upgrade my home gym. So if you're the kind of person who has trouble getting to the gym, it's recommended you invest in a few key pieces of equipment that you'll actually use to create a home gym. So remaining active, whether walking, biking, swimming, strength training, or dancing, is a great way to keep your body in shape and help build muscle. Muscle is the key part of that, of keeping your muscles built up, or build up muscle, or keep muscles in use so they don't deteriorate. And they're after me about that. I've had some free weights and a bench, but I also had trouble getting into that sync of doing it all the time. So one of the things, and that's an easy way to start, is getting something that's comfortable for you, a bench and some free weights, so that you can do some exercise. And you could even, instead of there, maybe free weights and a chair, just so you can get into the habit of doing exercise. So that's something you're going to need to do in retirement. And if you're not retiring and not doing that, you need to do that as well. But I'll just tell you, you're wondering, well, what did you order, Greg? Well, I ordered what's called tonal. Not priced as low as a bench and some free weights, but it's an exercise system, built-in coaching. So hopefully that helps me to do more about that. Another important thing, and you might know from Jessie and Glucose Revolution, or on social media, she's known as Glucose Goddess. And I've talked to you about that over the past couple years, is following her recommendations on how to eat, and it is a process instead of just whatever. Eat with purpose is what I define it as. And a very important part of that is, after you eat, go for a short walk. I can be better. I need to be better at that as well. Here's another thing. One of my medical coaches, you can also refer to as a doctor, recommend, and we've got a little bit of work to do on that, but that's having a good night's sleep. Another investment in your health is to get a great night's sleep. Think about your sleeping challenges and what might help. A more comfortable bed, an eye mask, supplements. There's a little supplement I take, and I have a cold bedroom at night. That helps me sleep as well, and it being dark, and if I have to get up during the night for some reason briefly, we'll just leave it at that, I'm able to get back in bed and go right back to sleep. So that's really important, having a good night's sleep in retirement. Okay, let's shift gears from health and sleep. How about a reliable car? During your working life, you might change a car ever so often, but will you have that opportunity or the finances to change out car ever so often? No one wants to spend the first few years of retirement dealing continually with car breakdowns and costly repairs. It's suggested investing in maybe a reliable vehicle with a long warranty that will fit your lifestyle and allow you to travel without the worry of expensive repairs. And that's something you may need to negotiate as a part of the car deal. If you're buying a car, adding a warranty to cover beyond the factory warranty. And I'll suggest negotiate it. But here's also another suggestion, is have it tied into the manufacturer, not a third party, but the manufacturer of the vehicle that you're buying. Think about that. Here's another investment for travel. Great luggage if you plan to travel. You want lightweight, easy to use, quality, and sturdy. If you're going to Europe, make sure that luggage has some really great wheels on it. Those cobblestones, some luggage, I've seen people dragging it and they got a wheel missing, and now they're dragging their luggage. There's a lot of cobblestone in Europe, and not all luggage is happy about that. So make sure you do a little research, get some quality luggage that can get beat up and it just keeps on rolling. Another is a comfortable and functional home. Upon retiring, most people spend a lot of time in their home, which is an opportunity to invest in a few upgrades to make it more comfortable and functional. So think about what's important to you, like improving the kitchen if you like to cook, or maybe sprucing up the back door, the backyard, which is beyond the back door, if you like the outdoors. I'm stumbling on words today. Sorry about that. But it also might be including grab bars in the bathroom, stair lifts if necessary, ramps, and other items that will help you improve mobility. Here's another thing that's really important: an emergency fund. You probably need at least 6 years of expenses, sometime more. I think you need a minimum of 12 years expenses in emergency fund. In most cases, my advice ranges is somewhere from $25,000 to $50,000 in emergency fund. But if all you can get set aside is $8,000 or $9,000, that's better than none. Here's the biggest one. You might want to get a financial advisor in retirement to keep a check on you and see how things are going and make sure you're financially healthy and you don't have some surprises during retirement. Go to GregoryRicks.com for more help on that. We'll be right back.
If you've got a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory.
I started my retirement about 5 years ago, and I truly am late in life.
Would I be better to just withdraw the money out of my TSP and pay that mortgage off?
My problem is I have champagne taste in a beer sour. What is a balloon note?
Is that cutting it too close?
So will I still be eligible for Medicare?
Is there anything better I can do with the money I transferred into the Roth from my 401k? My goal is to retire at age 60. I'm 54 right now.
Hey, I have a 9-year-old son, and he's got probably $2,500 in. Is there anything we can invest it in?
And I just started a 401k a little late in life.
Then I should be like 10%.
Now, how far in advance do you recommend that someone goes to visit the Social Security office?
I want some money in a casino playing poker.
Gregory Ricks and Associates, 504-832-9200 or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
When I was growing up, my mom relied on old wives' tales to get rid of outdoor bugs. One method included putting 2 pennies in a bag of water and hanging them throughout the backyard. And let's not forget Mom's go-to, the citronella candle, which never worked. It's the 20s. We have science and much more thorough ways to get rid of bugs. Call Mosquito Joe. Mosquito Joe has this time-release capsule that they spray that slowly releases their mosquito death over a course of a month. Because mosquitoes suck. NewOrleans.mosquitojoe.com.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I'm your host, Gregory Ricks, a financial advisor here to answer your questions and help you win with your money.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Simple information from good people.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
I'm young, I'm 22 years old, and I'm just now starting to get into the 401k and the percentage and stuff. How much money do I need to save to, retire around, 60, 65 years old?
So first off, one of the first rules, if you're getting a match, you need to get 100% of the match. The match is free money. Those that are putting off turning on their 401k because I need that money every month. No, you need to get the match. That's the priority. What's great for you is you're taking advantage of one of the greatest things on the planet, and that's compound interest and time. At age 22, you're not going to have to put away a lot to achieve this goal versus if you wait to 35 or 40, it's going to seem like a mountainous task.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Here, I was about to jump into a topic, but if you just tuned in, I'm Gregory Ricks. This is Winning at Life, and we bring this show to you every Saturday. It's on live radio in multiple markets, but it's also streaming across the world as well. And one of the sponsors, and I failed to mention them, and I need to write it down again, as such, is iHeart Media. Show darn sure wouldn't be possible without iHeart. So we appreciate them for enabling us, helping us, encouraging us the past more than 15 years, more like 16 years at this point, their involvement with formation of the idea and encouraging us to start doing this show. Turns out a long time ago, and they're an important part of this. So just want to get that. I wrote it on my list to make sure I don't forget it next time I run through show sponsors as well. One of the things coming up on retirement, and I've talked about this in variation, and on upcoming show, I'm probably going to spend an hour on this topic, and we will have a guest to discuss it as well. But it is Medicare, and there's some changes coming, and I'm not a big fan of Medicare Advantage either. So just putting that out there, but let's talk about it a little bit. And this is something, when we talk about retiring and having a financial advisor, you need to also have an advisor that's kind of versed in this to help you. And we have a team of people that are very good at this topic on helping you with that process. And if you're wanting to do research, where to go for that to help you with pricing of this. And even if you already have it and say you have Medicare Advantage and you've heard my thoughts on it and you say, well, I want original Medicare now. That team can help you as well. And all you've got to do is reach out to my office, 504-832-9200, or go to GregoryRicks.com, and we will connect you with that team that's very versed in assisting you there in that topic. So let's get into this for a few minutes. Medicare, and I'm kind of the title of this, and it's from Investopedia, and it got my attention because I've been wanting to talk about this, and I got several articles tucked away to reference on a longer version of this, but let's see where we go right here for the next 8 or 9 minutes. Disadvantages of Medicare Advantage. And once again, I'm referencing a piece written by Zach Siegel of Investopedia. Medicare Advantage plans are designed to cover everything original Medicare, meaning Medicare Part A and Part B, does, plus usually prescription drugs and vision, hearing, or dental care, all for a low premium. However, compared to original Medicare, Medicare Advantage plans do have some downsides. Your choice of providers may be more limited. You're much more likely to need pre-approval for expensive care, and your plan can change unexpectedly. And your provider you're used to seeing might want to opt out of Medicare Advantage, so they may not see you because that's your insurance. Takeaways from the article is Medicare Advantage offers extra benefits, but out-of-network care may be limited or costly. Other disadvantages include difficulty of switching out of the plans later, restrictions on care access, and limitations on extra benefits. Geographical restrictions also mean you cannot access care if you travel out of state unless you have an emergency or need dialysis. Medicare Advantage plans can change benefits annually or drop providers mid-year. Yikes. However, Medicare Advantage plans could be a fit for people on a tight budget or who qualify for a special needs plan. So when I kind of say on a tight budget or needs to qualify for a special needs plan, you know, you probably don't have money saved for retirement. You don't have enough saved. You're on a very low income. Might be situations that put you in advantage. Original Medicare versus Medicare Advantage. Original Medicare, also known as traditional Medicare, comprises of two parts, A and B. And you can add prescription coverage, called Part D, at extra costs. Medicare Advantage or Part C offers a Part A and B coverage and usually some form of prescription drug coverage. While the federal government administers original Medicare, private companies sell Medicare Advantage plans, although these plans have to follow the same federal regulations. But they don't necessarily follow the same decisions on coverage of procedures. They have a guide from original Medicare. Medicare Advantage enrollment has been growing fast in recent years. In 2024, 50% of Medicare eligible people were enrolled in Medicare Advantage, up from 39% just 5 years earlier. While increasing enrollment, expanded supplemental benefits, and ongoing regulatory changes, it's crucial for both consumers and agents to stay informed. Comparing Medicare Advantage to original Medicare can quickly become confusing. In short, original Medicare with a Medicare supplement Medigap plan offers maximum flexibility and coverage but may cost more each month. Medicare Advantage may cost less monthly and has built-in price breaks on annual costs, but may involve more hassles with pre-authorization and provider network requirements. In this article, they have a chart that kind of breaks down some examples of that. Say, original Medicare, vision, hearing, and dental care, not covered. Medicare Advantage, covered at least in part by 97% of plans. I'll just say they may not cover it how you expect them to cover it as well. Provider restrictions. Original Medicare, none. You can go to any doctor who accepts Medicare. Medicare Advantage has a network of providers, and if you're allowed to see out-of-network doctors, you'll pay more for them. And your doctor that you're used to seeing might not stay as a part of that network. You might get a surprise. Yeah, we're dropping out. You'll have to find another doctor. Pre-authorization requirements on original Medicare, uncommon. Only 1 in 100 Medicare recipients needed one in 2023. Medicare Advantage, much more common. 2 per person were required in 2023. I am not a fan of that. Maximum out-of-pocket limit, none, meaning you'll always pay for a small portion of your care. Medicare Advantage, plans must have an annual maximum out-of-pocket limit, which can be as high as $9,250 for in-network care in 2026. After you reach that, the plan pays 100% of covered services for the rest of the year. U.S. travel coverage covers you wherever you go under original Medicare. Wherever you go in the United States, I might add. Typically on Medicare Advantage, only covers you for your specific area. How about specialist referrals? Original Medicare, not required. Medicare Advantage may be required from your primary care provider for those specialist referrals. Premiums you'll pay per month. On original, $206.50 for Part B, usually $0 for Part A. $206.50 for Part B, but a few plans may pay part or all of this for you. Plan premiums are usually $0, very low. That's a benefit there. So much more. We're going to cover this more in depth on an upcoming show of Winning at Life. We're about to jump to a break. I'll see you back in 6 minutes. This is Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, comes from the Mortgage Gumbo Studios.
Your locally trusted home loan lender, MortgageGumbo.com.
Early steps. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. The peace plan for Gaza underway as Israeli troops withdraw to a neutral line. Fox's Jennifer Griffin.
Senior administration officials said a key moment and breakthrough in the talks came when U.S. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Cooper, who was in Sharm el-Sheikh for the talks, told negotiators the U.S. military could establish a ceasefire monitoring base within 2.5 weeks. Negotiators also had indications Hamas was beginning to view the Israeli hostages as a burden rather than an asset. Hamas agreed as part of the deal not to hold any humiliating public ceremonies involving the hostages, but we also have heard from the chief hostage negotiator on the Israeli side that some of the deceased Israeli hostages may not be returned just yet because Hamas does not know where they are.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin. 48 hostages are still in Gaza. 20 are still thought to be alive. Still no compromise to when the federal government shut down. This as layoffs of some federal workers have begun as it approaches week 3 of that shutdown.
Federal workers across the government are being notified of reductions in force. A spokesperson for the White House Budget Office says layoffs are substantial. The Trump administration has warned of layoffs if the government shutdown continued, a departure from previous shutdowns when federal workers were furloughed but brought back to work once a spending bill was passed. A group of unions representing federal workers is suing, asking a federal judge in San Francisco to block the firings, arguing the administration is improperly using the shutdown as the basis for layoffs. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And President Trump announcing that he would implement new 100% tariffs on imports from China starting November 1, retaliating for new controls China's imposing on exports of rare earth minerals. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
A spokesperson saying former President Joe Biden is getting radiation and hormone therapy as part of a new phase of treating an aggressive form of cancer that he was diagnosed with in May. In September, Mr. Biden underwent surgery to remove cancerous cells from his skin. Authorities, meantime, in Tennessee, saying several people have died. 18 more remain unaccounted for following an explosion at an explosives manufacturer.
Officials are continuing to notify and speak with family members of those still missing, but many are
feared dead. The explosives manufacturing building is now rubble. People felt the blast from miles away. It happened yesterday morning at Accurate Energetic Systems, which makes explosives for military and demolition purposes. So the building was likely filled with bombs or ammo. Officials say the ATF National Response Team will be helping the several other federal and local agencies in this active investigation, which will be very methodical and will likely take some time, according to the local sheriff. And in a statement on the explosives company's website, it says that its thoughts and prayers are with the family members, co-workers, and community members of all of the people impacted by this incident.
And that's Fox's Madison Scarpino. Air traffic controllers who call out sick during the shutdown could be fired.
The warning from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. He says air traffic controllers who call in sick during the shutdown risk being fired. Air traffic controllers are among those not being paid during the shutdown. 90% of controllers are showing up to work, but the 10% who aren't are causing thousands of disruptions at small and major hubs, including Newark, New Jersey, Chicago, Denver, and Dallas-Fort Worth. Flight disruptions caused by controllers during the 2019 shutdown pressed Congress to reach an agreement ending the shutdown. Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
And I'm Paul Stevens. This is Fox News.
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I am near retirement, and I wish I would have been listening to y'all for the last couple of years.
Learn the ins, outs, do's, don'ts, rules, and tools of the financial world.
I have a broker. He has no idea what you and I just talked about.
From your 401k to your IRA to your pension to your Social Security to your Medicare.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate your service to the community.
From your ETFs to your precious metals.
The program helps to ground me. There's some personal, real life there.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and wherever else you can find podcasts, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Hey, I love your show.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. The firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Welcome to Winning at Life, your financial and news radio show. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. You're just joining us today. Thanks for doing so. We bring this show to you every Saturday. Been doing so for over 15 years, and it's one of the things I really enjoy, helping you make better financial decisions. If you're new to the show, I am your host, Gregory Ricks. I'm CEO, founder of Gregory Ricks and Associates, the Total Wealth Authority, advisors, and retirement strategies. You can find out more about me and my firm by going to gregoryricks.com. We are in the financial advisory business. Got 4 advisors on staff besides myself. I'm CEO, founder. We have a team of analysts, service people, and everybody dedicated to helping you have success with accumulating, saving, and growing your money. What's the common goal? A retirement. Got some help for you on that. And I think one of the most important things that we have to account for is taxes in retirement. You know, more you build up, the more tax exposure. The larger income you take, the more taxes you'll pay, but would you prefer, I know you would, you'd prefer to minimize that. Well, it's a big part of what we do from a strategy standpoint, but I've got a guide here for you. No, I was going into the Social Security. I gave that earlier. How about this? Are you paying too much in taxes in retirement? Go to gregoryricks.com/too much, TOO much. Too much. We always pay too much in taxes, right? That's kind of how I think about it as well. It's important stuff. You know, I was interviewed yesterday for an article regarding taxes in retirement. I'll tell you what, I'll get into that in our next segment upcoming. Do have some ideas to share with you about taxes, and we do want to minimize that. You've got to consider that going forward as well. So much to work on, you know, when you're looking at retirement. You've got to making good investment decisions that carry you the long term. You know, you're not needing it to blow up, or, oh my gosh, I got to redo this. It's going the wrong direction. You know, when I think of it conceptually, and that's, you know, I've done this for a long time, obviously. And a lot of, I don't know that I told my backstory. One of the things that impacted me in this business a long time ago, my father was killed in an offshore accident. And that, you know, definitely always impacts a family when that happens. Earlier in life, he was, not later in life. It wasn't like he passed in retirement. He had a lot of working life in front of him, but, you know, not enough money saved and such. So it was an accident offshore and led to litigation. Mom settled up with them, and you know, she was not the savviest person regarding finances and didn't always make good decisions regarding that. But she did agree on a lump sum amount plus a lifetime income as part of that settlement. Not income off the lump sum, but she was having that too, but income off settlement. And I remember prior to her inking the final decision, my suggestion to her, and I was a lot younger than I am now, that's for sure, but I already knew enough that, because I knew her, that I told her, Mom, you need to structure this where there's more income and less lump sum. What do you think she did? Yeah, you know the answer. She took more of the lump sum than the income. At least she did take some income. Jump forward 10 years. Guess what was gone? Yep, that lump sum. So when we're working through retirement, and that bases my foundation on this, because we have to understand where we're headed with our money and how to look at it in ways that we have a handle on what's going forward. And my thinking, how I think, I want to see how the next 5, 10, 15 years is going. I know where you're at now. If I'm looking at your situation, I'm looking at where are you right now. And let's say you're at retirement time, close to making that, or you're in retirement. I have a snapshot of where you are asset-wise, all financial assets. And I can look out 15 years when we build plans. I want to see where you're going to be in 15 years estimated with some assumptions. If we're the same or more, okay, we're good. If we're less, that's a worry. And then I jump back and look at where are we in 5 years and 10 years, then 15 years. So I can see, is this going how you expect it to do so? Gosh, there's a break. I'm going to pick this up from that area when we come back. Let's talk more about that. You're listening to Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks. We'll be back shortly.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Could this be your Social Security, your 401k, pension, lump sum, your debt, student debt, credit cards?
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years. Sometimes I'll pull up to the side of the road and just listen.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hello, Gumbo Nation. This is Dwayne Stein with Mortgage Gumbo. Are you ready to get off the sideline to purchase your first home, but thinking, what the, who the, how the? Well, I'm your guy. As your local home loan lender, Mortgage Gumbo Dad Cam has been guiding clients just like you. Buying a home can be scary, but the process shouldn't be. Just ask my thousands of clients. Let me earn your trust today. Visit MortgageGumbo.com.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can hear the Ask Gregory podcast, where you'll find episodes based on a financial topic. So if you're looking for help on a specific situation, there's a good chance you'll find it on the Ask Gregory podcast, including episodes on 401ks, taxes, stocks, Social Security, gold, and whether or not you should buy an RV. Hear the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
2 questions. Do you have a pulse? Do you own anything? If you said yes to both, you probably need a will. You may even need a trust. We all know a lawyer. Do you know someone who specializes in estate planning? Do you really trust the husband of your sister's friend from college? Or would you feel better putting your family in the hands of the estate planning attorney of the Total Wealth Authority? I'm Wes Blanchard. What's your plan? Offices in Metairie and at wjblanchardlaw.com.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
If you do not have money set aside, you do not have retirement assets, you don't have significant savings, you're thinking, well, when should I turn on Social Security? I'll answer that for you right now. You should probably work as long as you possibly can and as much as you can, because that means you defer Social Security as long as you can up to age 70. And you can keep working past that. That's fine. But at age 70, you have to turn it on because you've maximized it there. And you've created the largest possible payment, and you're going to need all of that.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This is Winning at Life. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. If you want to find out more about me, go to GregoryRicks.com. Find out about the firm, how we may be able to help you. A lot of great information, great team of people. to support you in your progress towards creating the ultimate retirement and helping you through that phase of life as well. Great dedicated people that love what they do. So check out the website. You can call the office 504-832-9200. There's a site chat on the website. You can start with just a 15-minute conversation if you've got some questions or not sure if you need help, want help. You kind of start with that by having a short conversation, which would lead to either scheduling a Zoom meeting if you want to do it that way, or come into one of our physical offices. And we have office in Metairie, Louisiana. We have an office in Mandeville, Louisiana, and we have an office in Gulfport, Mississippi. We do work with families across the country. That's what phones and computers enable. And we do Zoom meetings. So that could be an option for you if you're listening. We do have people travel in to see us, sometimes by car, sometimes they fly in to work with us. And we really appreciate that. And once again, reach out to us by going to gregoryricks.com or the office number 504-832-9200 to just start a conversation and see where it goes. You're never forced or pressured to do anything. You know, where sometimes people worry about being stuck in a long meeting or something. And we schedule the meetings for 60 minutes typically, not longer. And you could do less if you want to. You don't have to stay there the whole 60 minutes, and we're really not going to keep you past. Sometimes meeting can run long by a few minutes. But that is the expectation, and if we're needing more time, we will schedule a follow-up visit and continue those conversations. We're not a firm that you're going to come in and camp. We're expecting you to camp out, or we try to keep you there for hours till you submit. No, that's not how we operate. You know, as far as kind of how I look at it from a simple standpoint, well, how do we know when we're working together? If we keep having meetings, we're obviously working together. If you don't have another meeting or don't come back, well, obviously we're not working together, because you know what working together is? It's continued conversations about you, your money, your retirement goals, your Medicare, your taxes, your planning, your friends and family. You know, we have ongoing discussions. We're obviously working together. If you don't keep talking to us, then we're not. So, important stuff. When I went to break, I was talking about my backstory a little bit, because I haven't done that quite in a while. And I'll basically pick back up, whereas we moved forward 10 years after the settlement. She took the larger lump sum and some income. And 10 years later, yeah, the lump sum was gone. I didn't do any I told you so or whatever. It just wasn't good. So she basically was in a retirement with low income and had cycled to survivor benefits as well sometime past that 10-year period as well. She then sold her home and spent some of that value as well. And my big lesson from that is that shouldn't have been a surprise. That shouldn't have been that should have been seen coming. And so core thing I learned from it is gosh, there needs to be a more emphasis on income and how to look out for that and how to protect that, and make sure you have a base of it built in to your retirement plan. So whether you're a widow that's in her middle-age years, or somebody in a couple or survivor in retirement that's into your retirement years, at the core, wherever you're at now, I like to look 15 years out. Quick look 15 years out. See, where are you? And from where you are now at 15 years out, do you have more or less in overall assets? Then I want to see how that's progressed over years 5 and year 10, then back to 15. You know, the ultimate is we would see it being larger in that progression, but I also want to look real quick and dig out, if we're lower, where did that taper start? Why is that heading in the right direction? So we're building a plan. And if we're building a plan for a person towards retirement, and building that plan is those looks 5, 10, 15 years out. Is this going the right direction? And then you want to jump out 30 and 40 years to see where that is. And you might say, oh, I'm not going to live that long. But you might. It's my job to look out for you and take you even to 110 in age. If you still have money at 110, well, you're going to be fine, is the simple, quick answer to that. But if we've got zeroing out, where does that go? In a lot of cases, that's going to help in the household because they don't have a lot of money to support leaving behind when they both die a pile of cash. You also have to think further out, the end of life. You know, we have those go-go years early in retirement. Then you have slow-go years, and then no-go years where you're not very active, or your activity is less. You're probably not traveling as much on the back end. If we break up retirement to end of life in thirds, the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. But that doesn't necessarily, in the no-go years, are you spending less money? You might be requiring more help at some point, which would cost more money. We have to account for that in the retirement plan, or else who's picking it up? Family, either through labor or spending money, or both on the back end of that. So one thing I kind of define as where I look at a retirement plan for somebody 5, 10, 15 years out, then jump to 30 years. But also I want to see, how has this progressed? Are the overall assets are intact? Have they spent down some, or have they grown? Because one of the things I'm looking for, there'll be the second to die in the couple. Think about the first to die. You've got your spouse helping you. You've got family members that can help. And there's not as much cost maybe in there. But for the second to die, you're older, probably more health problems, might be more cost. Family members got to be involved, and or have to pay for help then, because you don't have that spouse any longer. It might require you to live somewhere else. You know, I had somebody suggest that I want to stay, even on my declining year, I want to stay in my home. I want to die in my home. And I said, well, that might not go how you expect it to go in her particular situation. And I suggest she be about, and she just didn't have family member to help with that. First off, who makes that decision? And if you don't have somebody, you have to find who you want to make that decision. And if indeed that's a possibility, you're going to have to live elsewhere, you might want to be a part of that decision and planning now, not on the back end where you're not capable of being a part of that decision or making that. So with that said, also on that back end, that last third, I always kind of look at it, and I'll use this phrase, may be crude, but we may have to burn through some money. What I mean, you may have to spend some of those assets on health-related care, where you live in assisted living or home health and so forth. There might need to be a couple $100,000. So that's why, I have my 5, 10, 15-year look, then out to 30. And then how much excess cash are we going to have to spend on end of life? So you have to think about planning entails that. You might not think about it critically like that. I suggest that's why you work with a financial advisor. Work with a financial professional that's vetted in having these conversations as an overall team and not rely just on one person at the firm. We'll be right back with more Winning at Life.
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I am near retirement, and I wish I would have been listening to y'all for the last couple of years.
Learn the ins, outs, do's, don'ts, rules, and tools of the financial world.
I have a broker. He has no idea what you and I just talked about.
From your 401k to your IRA to your pension to your Social Security to your Medicare.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate your service to the community.
From your ETFs to your precious metals.
The program helps to ground me with some personal, real life there.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and wherever else you can find podcasts, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Hey, I love your show.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. The firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
What does your ideal retirement look like? Is it traveling the world, fishing whenever you want, spending time with the grandkids, or maybe you don't know yet? Hi, I'm Gregory Ricks. Let us help you plan the retirement you deserve. Give us a call or go to GregoryRicks.com to schedule a visit. We are Gregory Ricks & Associates, the Total Wealth Authority.
The firm provides insurance services, investment, and advisory services. Offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management, LLC. And Gregory Ricks & Associates are not affiliated companies.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can listen to the show live, or you can hear a replay of the latest episode of Winning at Life. Whether you're getting a late start on your retirement savings or keeping up with the financial news, Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is there on demand. Hear the Winning at Life show on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
We are living in historic times, extraordinary times. A lot of people need help right now, and I want you to remember your local food bank. Now here in New Orleans, it's Second Harvest Food Bank. Over in Mobile, they've got Feeding the Gulf. But you can find your local food bank, feedingamerica.org. Food donations, monetary donations, or I know you've got some free time. Find your local food bank. Support your local food bank, especially in times like this. Do some good. feedingamerica.org.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is a copyright of Down South Strategies for the private use of our audience. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without express consent is prohibited. For podcasts, show information, and contacts to our sponsors, go to winningatlife.com or download the Winning at Life app. If you have a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory. We are Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. President Trump taking the unprecedented step of firing more than 4,000 federal workers during a government shutdown. The announcement made yesterday.
The Trump administration has warned of layoffs if the government shutdown continued, a departure from previous shutdowns when federal workers were furloughed but brought back to work once the spending bill was passed.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Among the departments hit Commerce, Treasury, and Homeland Security. The East Coast facing an onslaught from Mother Nature.
The nor'easter is expected to slam the Atlantic seaboard over multiple days with heavy rain, major coastal flooding, and potentially damaging wind gusts.
Fox's Carmen Roberts, New Jersey declaring a state of emergency. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey y'all, this is Winning at Life, the financial talk show. Bring this to you every Saturday from 10 to 1. So we're on the back half of hour 3. I'm feeling good about it. How about you? Thanks for joining us. Check us out on our Facebook pages, the Winning at Life Facebook page, also our YouTube channel for Winning at Life, and Gregory Ricks. The firm Facebook page is Gregory Ricks and Associates. And my personal page, Gregory Ricks. So you can go check out those pages and connect if you wish. Be awesome. And more about me, if you're new to the show, go check out the website, GregoryRicks.com. Tremendous amount of resources there. And that's another thing about the YouTube channel, which there's links to that on our webpage, and a tremendous amount of resources there. And we're doing some neat things as far as what we're adding on to help you as a guide. And that's what we want, is to create resources. Even if you don't work with us as a firm, we want to help give you some direction as well. On the Gregory Ricks podcast that we're going to be updating and revamping, we're going to do some neat things there that Chris is working on for us as well. And we just want to, in our educational events, we're in talks about how we can expand those to other markets that you've been asking for. So we're working on that also. So we've got a good bit of things going on to be a resource for you, to be a guide for you, to be an advisor for you as well. We're on the back half of the show. I want to run through our show sponsors as well. Dwayne Stein, you know him from mortgagegumbo.com. Show contributor as well. Jude Heath of J. Heath and Company CPAs, and longtime show sponsor as well as contributor to the show. Wesley Blanchard of W.J. Blanchard Law, also shows contributor as well as longtime sponsor of the show. We got neworleans.mosquitojoe.com, because I don't like mosquitoes. I love them as a sponsor there. Check them out. Tell them Gregory sent you. Spitali's Deli and Catering in Metairie. Gregory Ricks and Associates, the Total Wealth Authority, advisors and retirement strategies. JJSaudiovideo.com, 504-638-0906. iHeartMedia, and a newer one, First South Farm Credit.com. Tell Pat Gregory sent you. 985-748-8655 is the phone number. Let's see what you want to hear about. How about this? I've got a topic here. Let me check this out. See what this does for us here. One of the things, I was interviewed about taxes yesterday, and I think I'll talk about this for a hot minute here. And it's taxes, was kind of being interviewed, and I'm going to kind of free range here on the topic for a little bit. But there's a lot to think about when your retirement is coming up and how you're going to take income and the different types of taxable income that you have and how do you blend that in. And this also has to do with, are you prior to age 60? Which would mean, I'm really asking, are you prior to age 59 and a half? Then are you before or after age 55? Because there's an age 55 exception regarding 401ks. Why before 59 and a half? Because if you're taking retirement accounts, you could possibly have a 10% early withdrawal penalty as well. If you're post age 60 but not 65, have you taken in consideration health insurance? If you're leaving your employer, have you looked at the pricing of that? Are you wanting to turn on Social Security at 62, which is way early? What can we do to get you to not turn it on so early? Can we create a retirement bridge? What's the impact of taxes on what you're turning on in this phase? We have three types of money. We have after-tax money, after-tax savings. You have qualified money like your traditional 401k, traditional IRA, which what do I mean by that? That money's grown tax deferred. So that when you take money out, it's going to be taxable on distributions, either by monthly income or if you're taking chunks out at a time. Or where some people, what do I hit my 401k to pay off my house? I take a lump sum out? Well, that can create a big tax bill. Once again, are you before 59 and a half and older? It might cost you more in penalty as well. The third type of money so we've got after-tax money, which is your savings, like your savings account, CDs, non-qualified investing accounts, could be stock holdings and such as well, where you're then dealing with capital gain taxes on selling positions, tax on dividends coming from those accounts. Then we've got the traditional tax deferred accounts as I've spoke about. And then we've got the Roth accounts, money that's growing tax-free, meaning when you take a distribution, you're not going to be taxed. So we've got three worlds of money. So where are you positioning to take money out of those, meaning which one you're hitting first? Or are you blending? And how is that impacting your Social Security on taxes? How is that impacting your Medicare premium on taxes? Are you considering doing Roth conversions on taxes? See, you've got to have these conversations, and what are you leaning on first for tax efficiency? You might be leaning on non-qualified money to keep income low because you're also wanting to do some Roth conversions to beat Uncle Sam later in life or create leave behind money, because qualified money post-death of both in the household, meaning you're second to die, so there's not a spouse beneficiary, or you don't have a spouse and you're leaving it to kids or non-spouse bennies. Those accounts have to be spent down over a 10-year period. There's a few exceptions and probably not going to apply to you. So that money's got to be spent down over 10 years. Roth money has to be spent down by the end of year 10, but they don't have to take RMDs or distributions. Regular IRA accounts have to do so. So are you planning for all these things in retirement? Oh, you've got a lot of money and you hadn't thought about it. You might not like your tax bills during retirement. Just saying, if you've got quite a bit of money. And why not? You might you might be one of those, and we're seeing these more and more of $1 million 401ks. And you might even have a pension with it. You might have other savings, and you might be in a situation where you get to 80 and now you've got $2 million. Do you have a plan for that when you get to 85 and 90 and die and leave it behind? Or how does that get handled? Do you have the proper estate planning tied in? And are you want it to be efficient for you in retirement? So you could fall into basically that qualification of somebody that's worth 2 to 3 million or more. We kind of define those as high net worth clients. You've got money. You're probably never running out of money. Your bigger problem is creating efficiencies from a tax standpoint. And what are you doing later in life on planning and help with that? We're coming up from a break. I'm going to give you a few ideas when we come back from the break to help you with that.
If you've got a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory.
I started my retirement about 5 years ago, and I truly am late in life.
Would I be better to just withdraw the money out of my TSP and pay that mortgage off?
My problem is I have champagne tasting of beer salary. What is a balloon note?
Is that cutting it too close?
So will I still be eligible for Medicare?
Is there anything better I can do with the money I transferred into the Roth from my 401k? My goal is to retire at age 60. I'm 54 right now.
Hey, I have a 9-year-old son, and he's got probably $2,500 in. Is there anything we can invest it in?
And I just started a 401k a little late in life.
Then that should be like 10%.
Now, how far in advance do you recommend that someone goes to visit the Social Security office?
I want some money in a casino playing poker.
Gregory Ricks and Associates, 504-832-9200 or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
When I was growing up, my mom relied on old wives' tales to get rid of outdoor bugs. One method included putting 2 pennies in a bag of water and hanging them throughout the backyard. And let's not forget Mom's go-to, the citronella candle, which never worked. It's the 20s. We have science and much more thorough ways to get rid of bugs. Call Mosquito Joe. Mosquito Joe has this time-release capsule that they spray that slowly releases their mosquito death over a course of a month. Because mosquitoes suck. NewOrleans.mosquitojoe.com.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I'm your host, Gregory Ricks, a financial advisor here to answer your questions and help you win with your money.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Simple information from good people.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
I'm young. I'm 22 years old, and I'm just now starting to get into the 401k and the percentage and stuff. How much money do I need to save to, retire around, 60, 65 years old?
So first off, one of the first rules, if you're getting a match, you need to get 100% of the match. The match is free money. Those that are putting off turning on their 401k because I need that money every month. No, you need to get the match. That's the priority. What's great for you is you're taking advantage of one of the greatest things on the planet, and that's compound interest and time. At age 22, you're not going to have to put away a lot to achieve this goal versus if you wait to 35 or 40, it's going to seem like a mountainous task.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This is Winning at Life. Glad you're hanging in there with us. Once again, if you just joined, sorry. You should have came earlier. But you know what? tune in next Saturday as well from 10 to 1. Check us out on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page also. When we went to break, I was talking about retirement and tax considerations. You know, and reached a point where we were kind of talking about high net worth with large assets and consideration of the impact of taxes. And some of that consideration should be, you know, what is the impact? Well, you can cause your Medicare premiums to go up during retirement. You could be pushing yourself into higher tax brackets, and you're probably leaving behind qualified money that's going to be left to your bennies that are going to be, of course, you know, if you're dying at 80, you're probably leaving kids behind in their 50s. And what are they in? Their higher income years, and you're leaving tax-infested accounts behind. You need to do planning for that and leave that in a good situation. And yeah, you could take us out too. Well, they'll be fine. It's all free money to them. Yeah, I get that. They'll be okay no matter what. But why not leave it more efficient? Why not leave it to them in a process that works better for them? Because you're pushing them into higher tax brackets. You want to be in higher tax brackets? I think not. But also leave it where there's a clear plan that's communicated with them and a process that makes that work. Even though, yeah, they'll be fine, it's more money, but do you really want to leave it to more to Uncle Sam? I would want to do it in a way where I'm leaving it more to family. Just saying. So you could do that process and then think of, are you wanting to pay, what if you could pay less taxes during your retirement and less of it's going to be tax being left behind? That, well, I've already retired and I've started the process, but you're not dead. How about let's start looking at some strategies. Let's start doing some planning and get that process started and see what that looks like and how much you can be saved over the coming years or the coming decades there. And make all that work in a way that's better for the family, better for you. One of the ideas is maybe Roth conversions. Some portion, at least for a few years, where the right window is far. Also, you could do it over a number of years. And I'm not talking about a plan to convert all of your money. That is an option to do that. However, I'm not suggesting that. But if you converted everything to a Roth that was qualified, maybe less taxable than what you're going to pay in overall taxes throughout retirement. It's a possibility there. So it's something to consider. But probably I'd like to do more like I'm eating an elephant. You know how to eat an elephant, right? That's right. One bite at a time. So one of the things I look at, are you wasting tax bracket margin? Meaning, do you have room in your tax bracket before you top out and move to the next bracket? So if you've got unused bracket left, say, what I'm meaning is your income would have to go up by another $25,000 to hit into the next bracket. So you have $25,000 of tax bracket margin. I hate to waste tax bracket margin. I really do. What do I want to do there? I want to find, is there an opportunity where we could do a Roth conversion right there and take that up, pay that tax bill now without going to a next bracket? Now It's taking that thing one bite at a time over time and impacting. And we might not do that for a long time. You just might do that for a few years to where it works for you from a tax standpoint. So you can be not a high net worth person, and this might be really impactful idea for you. But with also high net worth, there's other strategies we work with. And this also meaning if you're not worth several million plus in assets, you might be worth 700,000-800,000. You might have $1 million, $1.5 million. There's other strategies that we can probably help you with. There's this possibility, and possibilities are wonderful to have. And I'm going to give you a few ideas here for reason to maybe you should start a conversation with us. Direct indexing with active tax loss harvesting. You're a do-it-yourselfer. Are you doing this? Are you aware of this? Where we can set a specific budget on what each year a client is okay to realize within their current tax bracket actively. Some cases, there's a tax bracket you can move up to, gives you a lot more room to work, but it's only a few percent. Look at the tax brackets. We do. To actively tax loss harvest throughout the year with a goal of additional tax alpha, all the while looking to replicate the performance of an index like the S&P 500. This can help you go after performance while at the same time minimizing the taxes on non-qualified accounts throughout the year. This utilizes individual securities as well, which saves clients the cost of expenses from fund managers. Here's another strategy that you're probably not using but could. Concentrated stock strategies. If there's a large amount of assets in a single security, there's no need to sell and realize capital gains. We can put protections or income generating options in place to gain additional income without selling the position, protecting the position from downturns, or both. You kind of say, well, I like doing it myself. Why do I need you? Well, I just gave you two right there. We could call this a show today because I've actually gave you unbelievable two opportunities there. But no, I'm not going to stop there. Let's go for a couple more. Charitable remainder unitrust. Here's where we can donate stock, cash, real estate, or other assets to a CRUD. Once in the trust, the assets can be sold and income sent back out to the client, with only the distributions being taxable, not the entire sale amount. Business owners, are you hearing this? This helps in cases like large appreciated securities, real estate portfolios. The donor gets a tax deduction as an upfront as well as a deferral and spreading out the taxes owed on any sales, as they can only pay taxes on the distributions. Wow. Aren't you glad I went over a third one? Well, let's not stop there. Well, I'm going to tease you. Qualified charitable distributions, QCDs. How about Index Universal Life, donor advised funds? I've got a whole binder with probably 50 pages of stuff. I can go over 100 strategies with you, but how many you need? One or two. Hey, if you need some help, go to GregoryRicks.com. Call the office 504-832-9200. Y'all come back and join us next Saturday. Have a blessed weekend. God bless you all.
Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through the